Anyways, on to your question. McCain versus Obama. In the U.S. presidential election right now, I'm looking at more of like lesser of two evils. I'd like to find out more about the other candidates for other parties, see if there's anybody that I feel more comfortable with. I find things in politics both that I like and I dislike. Currently, I'm leaning towards a write-in vote for none of the above, or try again DC, or pull the other one. It has bells on it. There's multiple issues that I run into problems with. The main one that makes me most worried is the U.S. involvement in Iraq. Most of their career politicians on both sides of the fence are leaning towards pulling out of Iraq. I think the U.S. getting involved with the internal politics of Iraq was a mistake. U.S. politicians got us started down the road that led us to removing Saddam Hussein from power back in the 70s, maybe earlier. We helped him get in power to begin with, and I think just about every time the U.S. politicians get involved with the Middle East, it's short-sighted and causes more problems. That's all behind us now, and finger pointing will only make it worse. I'm more concerned with where we're going. If anyone besides God can solve the problem we have made for ourselves. As I see it, the U.S. needs to get out of Iraq, but pulling out any time in the foreseeable future will make things hundreds of times worse. So we're in a catch-22 there. The power vacuum that occur when the U.S. forces leave will create probably another dictator in a land that does not forget the past or forgive the past. And if we leave now, it will make a mess that will reach across the ocean and bite us in the butt. And will make the lives of the people in Iraq worse than when we stepped in. The more I learn about the Middle East and its people, then the more I realize that we will not be able to force peace on them from the outside. We will not be able to leave in the short term because we have not only grabbed the tiger by the tail, but we've slapped it in the testicles with a wet towel. As you're asking about my heart on the voting, my heart tells me we're going to be in for a long and ugly road, and the average American is not ready for it. I have the greatest respect for the men and women of the U.S. military that are doing their duty in the Middle East. They have been given a job that most likely cannot be done by mere mortals, but is not going to stop them from giving everything they have to get the job done. The culture of the Middle East will not forgive the stupid short-term decisions that the U.S. government has made in our policies and interfering in what they see as personal business. It's hard to argue with them there. And our military has been put into the middle of it all, and if we could get enough people in the Middle East to get a taste for what we have here in the United States and most of Europe of the rule of law, that the laws apply to everyone equally, that there are few exceptions, and the rule of might is wrong, where the average person will stand up and say, no, shooting him down in cold blood because I don't like him is a bad idea, is dumb, that there are other ways of taking care of this. Then we get enough people in the Middle East who go for that. They'll find other ways to work out the differences, and killing and shooting each other just because of something that happened 150 years ago or 30 years ago or whatnot, and never letting go of it. We might see a resolution that would be beneficial to both the U.S. and the people of the Middle East, not just the people of Iraq. I go on this for a long time, and I hope I'm not coming across too cynical. I have a strong dislike for the vast majority of politicians. That vast majority may have started out for the right reasons, but have lost their way in the game of U.S. politics and are not making the world a better place, but one that's more confused than ever. Anybody out there who's watching this in the world, especially people in the military overseas, we'd love to hear your comments, and we'd all love world peace. I don't see it happening in our lifetimes, but I also would love to find a way to rewind and make the politics simpler and make the games that they play go away. That people with vision, Warkoskin books, the best leader for the whole mess that their world is in is for somebody his passion is politics, but he hates politics with a passion. That's why he's passionate about it. He doesn't want to play the games. He doesn't think they're right. Somebody like that, the last thing that he wants is to be in power, might actually help us. I don't see anybody like that out there. Signing off. Hear from you tomorrow. Any of the questions that have been thrown out there, feel free to do, or come up with another one. That little presentation of Arlington in the Pacific Northwest was an interesting touch. Whoever put those together, and you got to run across it, that was cool that you got to see that.